let's look at a problem that says at a point on the ground 70 feet from the base of a tree. So we have a point that's going to be 70 feet from the base of this tree. So we'll let this be our tree over here. Okay, so 70 feet from the base of the tree. It says the distance to the top of the tree. So we're talking about this distance here to the top of the tree is 2 feet more than 3 times the height. So it's telling you to do 3 times the height, which would be 3h, and add 2 to that. It's 2 feet more than 3 times the height. And the height of the tree would just be h. They are asking us to find the height of a tree. Now in this case, we have a right triangle. So you're going to use Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember, your longest side, right here, that's the one that's your c. Okay, so I'm going to do h squared plus 70 squared equals 3h plus 2 squared. Okay, so on the left-hand side, 70 squared is 4,900. So I'm going to have h squared plus 4,900 equals, now when you have 3h plus 2 squared, that means write it twice and FOIL it. So we need to FOIL that out. So we're going to do 3h times 3h is 9h squared. 3h times 2 is 6h. 2 times 3h is 6h, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now we can combine some terms there. I can put the h's together here, so that's going to be 9h squared plus 12h plus 4. And I can bring down my h squared plus 4,900. Now, because we have two variables in h squared, we're going to have to factor this. So we need to get everything on one side and factor. So I'm going to subtract my h squared. I want to keep my h's positive, my h squared, so I'm going to move them to the right. I'm going to subtract my 4,900. So now I'm going to have 0 on the left. 9 minus 1 is 8, so I'm going to have 8h squared plus 12h. And then it's going to be minus 4,896 will be equal to 0. Now before I factor this, I can take out a common factor. Looks like 4 goes into all of these. So I can divide everything by 4. And that's going to give me 2h squared plus 3h minus 1,224. Now that 4 on the outside doesn't help me when I'm solving because it doesn't have a variable with it, a letter. So I have to factor that 2h squared plus 3h minus 1,224. So remember from your rules for factoring, you're going to have your 4 on the outside, and then you're going to have 2h times h. Then you want to put in all the factors of 1224 and see what's going to make it add up to 3 in the middle. And what works is a positive 51 here and a negative 24 over here. Now, if you have trouble with factoring, that's a prerequisite for this class, so make sure you get online and you find some practice on factoring quadratics. That's something they expect you to know when you get here, and I find some students don't, so make sure you practice that. When we're done, we need to set these equal to 0. We don't have to worry about the 4 because it doesn't have an x with it. I'm going to set 2h plus 51 equal to 0. And I'm going to set h minus 24 equal to 0. On this side, I get 2h equals negative 51 when you move your 51 over. And when I divide by 2, I'm going to get a negative number. My answer can't be negative, so I know that one's out. On the other side, if I add 24 to both sides, I get h equals 24. Your answer can be positive. So the correct answer for this one is h equals 24. You can plug that back in up here and check it using Pythagorean theorem. If you do 3 times 24 plus 2 and put your 24 over here, you can double check that using Pythagorean theorem to make sure that it works. But the correct answer on this one was 24.